Today guys, we're going over some things in GTA 5 Online that literally just make no sense whatsoever. Some of them are kind of weird and funny, and then some of them just have no logic whatsoever. I understand in GTA 5, it's obviously not like real life. There's a lot of things that are completely different and just don't make any sense, but we're still going to go over them today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to comment down below any other things that just make no sense at all in this game. I'm curious to see some other things that you guys have found in this game. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. So the very first thing is going to be apartment buildings and stilt houses. Let's go over this apartment building first. You guys can see on one of my characters, I'm standing inside of my apartment. And on my other character, I am flying my buzzard helicopter. So I decided to shoot at the window just so I could see exactly where I'm standing inside of this apartment building. And you guys can see this window is directly behind like the actual foundation of the building. So when this person, or I guess me, is shooting at the building right where this window is, the missiles don't even reach the building to where I'm shooting. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but you guys can see there's literally no window actually here. So technically we are looking through this gigantic piece of stone that is just on the side of the building, or concrete, and it just does not make that much sense. This is the last example for this apartment building, but you guys can see I'm on both screens right here, and this window extends between two different stories on this building. You can see the buzzard is at the lower level, and I can still see it clearly, and then it goes up to a higher level, one story above it, and I can still see it perfectly clear, which doesn't make a lot of sense because there's a horizontal beam that goes straight across this window, apparently, and I could still see the buzzard with no issues whatsoever, and it just doesn't really make too much sense to me. I'm not sure why Rockstar didn't just make them even, especially for people with OCD. This kind of messes them up because this window is literally across two different stories, and even when the buzzard is literally below the beam and above the beam, you could still see it perfectly clear, like the entire helicopter, which does not make a lot of sense. This really just shows how lazy Rockstar actually is sometimes. We wanted mansions, and we got stilt houses. There's a skylight inside some of these stilt houses. You guys can see on one screen, I could see the skylight, and I could see my other character on top of it. But on the other screen, I'm just standing on top of the roof. There is no skylight here whatsoever. What was Rockstar even thinking while doing this? It does not make any sense whatsoever. How can I see through this gigantic piece of metal on the roof? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Here's another example. In this stilt house right here, you guys can see on one screen, I'm flying in front of this window. I can't see anything. But then when my other character flies to literally just a solid wall, I could see them clearly through the window. Like, why couldn't they just make the windows on the actual houses line up? It's not really that hard. We asked for just proper houses and mansions in this game, and we don't even get proper windows because you guys can see that he's literally just looking through a wall apparently on the outside of this house, and that's the only way he can actually see me through the window. It just doesn't make any sense. And yet another great example of this. Now, I apologize for not lining the clips up exactly perfectly. I don't know why, it just keeps messing up, but you guys can see there's a window right here. But on the other screen, it shows a solid wall. This does not make any sense to me as well. Like, how can I see completely through a solid wall? Like, it's legitimately a solid wall with a water pipe on the side of the house. And then when my other character moves over to the actual window, I can just see the back of the bike, but I can't see anything else. It just doesn't make any sense. So you're in GTA Online, and you're just chilling on the side of a Cargobob, about to jump into the water from an extremely high altitude. That's fun, right? Well, why don't we jump off this Cargobob, and you know what? We're most likely going to die, right? Because from falling from this height, you will definitely die. But when you hit the water, you don't actually die. You lose about half your health, but you don't die. Let's see why this is wrong. In real life, if you fall from a height of 100 feet or more, and then you fall into water, it's like literally hitting concrete. It's like falling on the sidewalk. Now, the human terminal velocity is about 200 kilometers per hour, and you reach this after about 12 seconds. And that is if you're just falling flat. But if you're in a nosedive, then the terminal velocity is roughly around 290 kilometers per hour, which is extremely fast. That is not slow whatsoever. So falling from this height pretty much means you're dead no matter what. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in GTA 5, I was a lot higher up than 100 feet. If you guys want to know exactly what 100 feet looks like in GTA 5, well, it looks like this. It's really not that much. So I get, yeah, it is a game and everything, and it is actually very fun to do this. If you guys have never done this, get on a Cargobob, go super high up into the air, and then just jump off. Now, most of the time you will end up actually diving, but for some reason it would not let me dive. But it's really fun to do. But then in the end, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because no matter what, in real life, if you're falling from a height of 100 feet or more, you will die on impact hitting water. It's better for you to land in a forest with a bunch of trees, or even if it's like springtime and there's a field that you know is super muddy and everything, just something that can absorb your fall, because when you hit that, you actually have a better chance of surviving than you do if you were to fall into water, and it's been proven multiple times by many different sources. So if you're in a plane crash, don't aim for the ocean, aim for a bunch of trees or something else like that. There's tons of videos on YouTube that explain it a lot better, so if you guys really want to know more about that, go check it out. There's tons of them by like What If and like all those kinds of channels. You guys have probably watched their videos before, but yeah, it's just a really weird thing in GTA 5. I know it's honestly a game, but it's actually really fun to do, but in the end, it just really doesn't make that much sense. Here's another really random thing that just doesn't make a lot of sense. While I was actually recording the clips for these diving things that I just went over, there's this bridge here with this walkway that I honestly had no idea even existed, and I decided to drive down it. You guys can clearly see this isn't just an entire walkway that people can walk along on the side of this bridge like you would see in real life, which is kind of cool. But by the time you get to the end of it, it gets a little weird. There is just a bunch of barriers in front of the end of the walkway, so it kind of just ends. Even though there is a sidewalk here, which you could actually walk on, there's barriers blocking it, so you can't really get out properly. I'm not really sure why the barriers are literally right on the sidewalk and not like on the side of the road, which doesn't really make too much sense to me in my opinion. Like, they should just be on the side of the road, not on the actual sidewalk, because now there's no entrance into there, and the only way you can actually enter it properly is from the other end. Just doesn't make too much sense why this is here. Yet another thing that does not make a lot of sense, the fact that you could buy the new submarine for $2.2 million without adding any of the other vehicles or like all of that other stuff for $2.2 million, but then the Toreador costs $3.6 million. This is a car, and that is a nuclear submarine. And the price difference is pretty insane. Like, seriously, this car is literally like $1.4 million more expensive than this nuclear submarine. Here's another example. A C8 Corvette is $1.5 million on Legendary Motorsports, yet you could buy a Lamborghini Urus for about $500,000 on Legendary Motorsports, which doesn't make too much sense. And then you could also buy a Lamborghini Huracan, the Tempesta in GTA 5, for $200,000 less than the C8 Corvette. And you guys know the C8 Corvette isn't even, I believe, like $60K base price in Canada. Here's another great example. The Wastelander, also known as the Dante Lander, that's what I call my friend because he is waste, is $658,000. This thing is literally put together with scrap metal, okay? Scrap metal that you find in a junkyard. And that is more expensive than a bunch of other shit on Warstock. Literally, this bus is $500,000. Like, you're telling me that that thing built out of scrap metal is more expensive than a full-on bus, Jeeps, and a Mercedes 6x6 G63 AMG. I don't know how Rockstar comes up with their prices, but it just does not make any sense to me. This next one, I actually understand it, but it's still funny to me. It just doesn't really make sense in my opinion. But I was watching some guy do the Kyle Perico heist solo as fast as he possibly could. He did it in like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. In one scene, there's a guard shooting at him. The second he clicks exit, the guard just stops aiming at him and just stares at him and just says, "All right, have a great day. See you later. Enjoy all the shit you just stole from us." And then you just walk out the door. I understand. It is a game, like I said many times in this video. So there's obviously some minor flaws. But I mean, if you're going to exit through a building and there is guards shooting you, you shouldn't be able to just walk out and the guards would just be like, oh, you're just leaving now? Okay, bye. Have a great time. And then just walk out like nothing ever happened. And then when you get back outside, more guards start shooting you. Like, you should have to kill the guards that are in front of the door instead of just running right by them. Like, it doesn't make too much sense. And obviously, you could do this in tons of games. Like, guards will literally just stand in that one spot and not move. And the second you're out of their sight, they will not shoot you anymore. And it's like they don't even exist. Just doesn't make too much sense. But I do have to admit, It is just a normal thing in GTA 5 and in many other games, but it just doesn't make that much sense. But then again, it is just a game. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to smash a thumbs up on it. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and stay tuned for more videos coming out every single day about GTA 5 Online and all the weird shit that happens in this game. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.